burning, we got just to celebrate, like saying now you're burning, my baby one day, breakfast on the jet, Tuesday that we jet, that day not today, big things are happening now, more this, more that, more grace, more cash, more babes, more cars, big things are happening now, more this, more that, more grace,
All right. Hello, and welcome back. My name is Nzali, and this is Nzali Takes Africa. All right. So, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am Nzali. I am a teacherpreneur. And on this channel, I discuss how I transform my life by moving to the African continent. So, if that is something that is of interest to you, then this is the channel where you need to be. And of course, you need to like this video in advance. Make sure you share the content and then also subscribe to the channel. You can always find me on Instagram at Nzali Takes Africa, same as the title of this channel. And I'm excited to see you all today. So today I have a little treat for you all. Those of you who know me, you know that 8 years ago, in less than a year, I decided to pick up and move to Africa. The first place that I went to was South Africa. The second place that I went to, which I currently live there, is Ghana. So I've spoken a lot on this channel about how I've gotten unstuck, how I have really just created the life that I deserve, or that I feel that I deserve, by moving abroad. And so today I'm going to talk about a very unique part of my experience, and that is the village life. I know a lot of expatriates, when they move abroad, they move directly to the city, right? Or the city center for whatever country that they are living in. Well, I have had the luxury, and yes, I am intentionally calling it the luxury of also having a rural experience while living in Africa. So I want to talk about that today. Today, I'm going to talk about the 5 things that I learned by living in rural South Africa. Okay, so if you are a backpacker, if you're a person who likes a little bit of adventure, or if you just want to try it out, you want to do living in the village, living in a rural setting, then by all means, this video is definitely for you. And even if you don't, but you still want to know the things that I learned from that experience, then again, let's continue. So one of the very first things that I learned from living in the rural area, for those who've been watching for a while, you know that I originally was living in Majozi, and then I moved to Lonsdale. And my training site was Moteti. So Mpumalanga and Limpopo are the 2 provinces that I spent a lot of time in, outside of Gauteng, of course. So while living there, one of the very first things that I noticed, or that I was able to pick up, was this concept of Ubuntu. And to me, that meant like having community, having a togetherness, having I am because we are type of mindset. That was very, very different than my experiences coming from the States. In the States, we can be quite individualistic. We can be very separated. And you usually find your community with like your immediate family. And sometimes your extended family, depending on how healthy your family is. So I come from a really big extended family. So that was something that was important to me. But I thought that by me choosing to move abroad, that I was basically electing to throw that away. Like I felt like I wasn't going to find the same type of community halfway around the world. And that was a very big misconception on my part. When I went to South Africa, there are 2 communities that I spent majority of my time in, which was Majozi and Lonsdale. I really learned how to be in community with people that are not your family. How you build relationships, how you build trust, how you build like responsibility to each other, how you just have fun and have a good time, and that was something that I feel like was a really big part of my experience while I was there, which was seeing how community works, seeing how the traditional systems work, seeing how family organization works, in a context that was very different from my own. And so I really enjoyed seeing how communities stood up for each other. Like when I was in Majosi, there were things that happened there in the community, like really banded together. It was like, not on my watch. Not on my watch, not here. And I was like, that's really dope because, sometimes in the States, things are happening in people's neighborhoods and everybody's like in their house. And, in the Black American community, we have this no snitching policy and like people aren't holding other people accountable out of fear. And what I found in the two communities that I spent a lot of time with on the rural side is that they held each other accountable for the things that were not good in the community, and I really like seeing that. That was something that I felt like, okay, I can take this experience with me, even if I no longer live here, and apply it to new situations. The second thing that I learned the second thing that I learned while living in the rural setting is that life is simple. Like we in the West, we overcomplicate things. Like we have so many systems and structures and policies and procedures and offices and departments. And it's so much. Living in the village, like life was so simple. You wake up, you go get your water, you take your bucket bath, you get dressed, walk to work, enjoy the students, walk back home, cook your dinner, and lay your head down, right? It's not like information overload, busy, 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 busy. Like, no, like everything had a natural rhythm to it. It was a much slower pace. And it was just like life is simple. Like the things that are really the most important are not overcomplicated things. It's very simple. Breathe, eat, sleep, laugh, right? All of those things are free things. This is a very simple world. And I think sometimes in the West, we overcomplicate things. Sometimes in the big cities, we overcomplicate things and we make it more difficult than it has to be. And so village life was so easy. Like I know people that are like, oh, you lived in the village, it's so difficult. Like I had so much peace. I was chilling. Like, I tell you, I was chilling. Life was simple. Like it was so simple. And I love the simple life. You see fruit on the tree, pick it, eat it, enjoy it. If it's too hot, sit down. Don't be trying to hustle and bustle when it's 40 degrees Celsius. Why? Sit down, relax. And so that was something that I'm telling you, it changed my life. In the video that I showed earlier, you see a picture of me laying out. That was me laying out on my porch. Like it was so hot that day. And I was just like, let me just get a book and just lay down because there's nothing else I can do. Like, there's absolutely nothing else I can do. Let's look at another one. One of the third piece that I learned while living in the village in South Africa. Let me see. Do I have it here? Ubuntu, life is simple. Oh, here it is. Silence is golden. Now Majosi was the hot spot. So Majosi wasn't the quietest village, but Lonsdale was so quiet. It was like as soon as that sun went down, it was like mute. The nighttime I loved in the village because it was so quiet. Every now and then, like my neighbor's cows would like have a conversation with our dogs, but after that conversation was over, we were done for the night. Like it was so quiet. And what I found is that silence is golden. When you have time in your day where everything just shuts down, there are no expectations of you. There's nobody calling your name. There's no extra noises outside. You're not hearing no police sirens and all of that type of stuff. And you can just sit and enjoy peace and quiet. It will re-regulate your nervous system. Like I was so happy that I got a chance to live in the village because when I tell you I had gone from DC to living in the village and the village re-regulated my nervous system, For real, for real. It re-regulated my nervous system. And not only did it do that, it reinvigorated and realigned my body. So that leads me to the next one. Being healthy is easy. That's something I learned in the village. Because when I was in South Africa, if you go on my Facebook from that time, because I don't think I had Instagram then, but I had Facebook. So if you go on my Facebook, you'll see how much slimmer I was. And it was because I was living a healthy lifestyle and I wasn't even trying. It was like when you live in a village, you are more aligned with nature. And by doing that, you naturally will fall into your body's natural rhythm. So when I lived in the village, I didn't have like running water in my uh, like little room that I was living in. Right. Oh, and so actually, this is actually my house in Majosi. Like this was the rendezvous that I shared on the compound with my host grandpa. I have a picture in the first video that I showed at the beginning of me and my host mom in Longsdale. And so, but I don't have a picture of that room. So, but yeah, it was still small. It was just a room. Okay. So yes, I didn't have running water in my room, right? So I had to go out of my room to get my water. So you're fetching your water. Then I didn't have a refrigerator in my room, especially in the Longsdale space. Didn't have a refrigerator in my room, so I would cook everything fresh, and I didn't have anything to store food. So every day I was cooking fresh food for myself. Now, because I couldn't store it, I naturally had smaller portion sizes because it's like I only can cook what I can eat for today. So that gave me portion size control. Then I had a bike. So on the days where it was a little cooler, I could bike to my school. On the days that it wasn't, I would walk. So I'm walking to and from school every single day, naturally, just like everybody else. I am portion sizing my food because I don't have anywhere to store a whole bunch of extra food and hoard food. I'm also eating fresher food because I'm living in the village and food is fresh. And so it just being in alignment and naturally with nature, getting better sleep, right? Because once the sun goes down, there's nothing to do. What are you doing in the middle of the night in the village, right? So it's like I'm getting good rest, I'm getting good sleep, I'm eating better, eating fresher foods, walking just naturally, not actually exercising, just walking to and from work every day. And it was easy. And when I tell you the weight melted, it literally just melted off. People were asking me, like, are you eating? I'm like, heck yeah, I'm eating. It's just I was in alignment with nature, so being healthy was easy. And the last part that I want to say that really crystallized for me when I was in the village in a rural setting is that life is what you make it. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I can live in the village. I don't know if I can live in the bush. I can. I need my AC. I need my car. I need my this and my that. And honestly, I was one of the most happiest that I've ever been when I lived in the rural setting. Because it's what you make it. It's your outlook. When you don't have all these distractions and you have to find your joy in the simple things, the real things, you start to realize that, yeah, I may be living in Johannesburg, or yeah, I may be living in Accra, or yeah, I may be living in Washington, D.C., and I have all these things, but I'm not happy. And a part of that is your choice to be happy. Like you have to make the choice. When you live in a village, there aren't any distractions. There aren't any things to keep you away from the real truth that you might not be happy. You might not be fulfilled because all you have is yourself and the nature, right? And some of the community members that are around you, which aren't that many, right? And so you really have to figure out, okay, what is life really about? How do I maintain my peace, my joy, my happiness, even if I don't have a lot, right? If I don't have a lot of things, material things or distractions. And then you get down to really, it's a choice. I'm choosing to be happy because I'm happy and I'm joyful and I'm thankful and I'm gracious, and I'm grateful. And so for me, like I said before in other videos, and I'm going to close out this video saying it again, finding your peace is important. For me, having that time in a rural setting was transformational for me. It made me slow down. It made me listen to myself more, hear God more clearly, and it really, really, really reset my body. It reset my body and got me into the next phase of my life, which then ultimately led me to Ghana. Right. And so I have plenty of stories and videos that will come from my Ghana experience. But again, shout out to Longsdale, shout out to Majosi, shout out to Moteti. In that first video that I showed at the beginning, I think I'll show it again at the end. You see some clips also from Moteti. And so I just really appreciated my time in the village. I will forever be grateful for the people that I met there, the time that was spent, the community that was that hosted me, those 3 communities that hosted me and loved me and nurtured me, and really just helped me be a better version of myself. All right. So if you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Right? Subscribe to this channel. And if you are a person that is ready and you know you want to change your life, you know you want to transform your life, you know that you want to live on the African continent, then become a member. Become a member on this channel, because in our membership portal, we go into detail. And if for some reason you're like, I'm not ready to do this as a collective unit, then you can always send your girl an email or find me on Instagram at Nzali Takes Africa. Email me nzalitakesafrica@gmail.com, and let's set up some time to talk. Let's set up some time to get your plan together. I'm going to have some very, very cool things coming in the near future that's going to speak to a lot of the information that you'll need moving forward. So yes, I'm going to end. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to end with the video that I had at the beginning. So in that video, you'll see Moteti, you'll see Longsdale, you'll also see Majosi, South Africa. So shout out to my village, to my rural setting. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.